7 years ago, I started my entrepreneurial journey, and for the longest time, the mark of success, the milestone achievement was growing the business to 6 figures, right? That was, in the beginning days, the big number. And as a reward for making 6 figures, I always told myself I would one day go and buy a Rolex. Now, the very first time I stepped into a Rolex boutique, I was flat broke, had nothing to my name. A year later, my business had profited, for me personally, $33,000. And the dream watch that I wanted, I could have bought 2 of. But standing there in that boutique, wearing my dream watch, with all the financial capacity to buy it, I said no. And the reason why was because I decided if I was going to buy the watch, it was going to be when my skills were stacked up so high that if I lost everything, I knew I'd be able to make it back. Standing there in that boutique, even though I had well and above crossed that 6-figure mark, in fact, the business as a whole had done $500,000 in that first year, I still didn't feel like my skills were at the point where I could trust myself. If I lost everything, I'd be able to make it all back. And so every year later, every time I had the opportunity to buy a Rolex, I said no. And I kept investing that money into mentors, into courses, into coaching. Essentially, 6 years on from that, after investing over $200,000 of my own money into courses and mentorships, I was finally going to reward myself with something as a tribute, as a mark to the skills that I've developed, the mountain of case studies that I had, and overall, the man that I had become. And so last week, I picked up my dream watch, and this is it right here. It's the Rolex Datejust 36 in mint green. It's the most difficult to get in the Datejust line. It's the most sought after, and I finally got the call. I'd been on the wait list for a year with this AD. I'd had this watch on my vision board for 2 years, and as you know, for 7 years total, I've wanted a Rolex. And so finally, I went into the boutique, tried on the watch, paid, and walked out of there proudly with the watch on my wrist. But the feeling I had wearing it was not at all what I expected. Over the years of building this anticipation, I thought, man, when I wear this watch, it's gonna change me. I'm gonna feel like a new man. I'm gonna have this watch on. It's so difficult to get. It's so rare. I'm the first one in my bloodline to have a Rolex. Fuck yes, I'm gonna feel amazing. But instead, I genuinely felt no different. I felt nothing. A few years ago, when I got a different watch, a Tissot PRX, it's like $700. I felt more excitement buying that watch than I did buying this watch, which is a million times more expensive. And I was kind of grappling with it for the past week. Why do I feel nothing? Almost a tinge of disappointment. Why do I feel so indifferent to having this watch on versus having a cheap watch on? Why do I not feel like I thought I would feel? And I've actually come to the conclusion that it was because of my ability to properly manifest. I felt no different having the watch versus not having the watch. The way that I manifested this watch was that I believed I already had it. I had it on the vision board. I thought about it so much. And yes, in a way I did pedestalize it for sure. But I had become the man that was capable of owning and wearing a Rolex many times over. 7 years ago, I'd become that person. All the decisions I made for delayed gratification, that was what a Rolex man would do. He wouldn't give in to his impulses. He wouldn't just buy things willy-nilly. He would delay things. He would invest in the business. I had already become that man. It'd be different if mentally I wasn't there and I was using this as a way to kind of justify who I was, to show the world who I was in a sense of like insecurity. But the substance of this watch pales in comparison to the substance of the man that I am. And that, I believe, is the right way to do it. So often you see people on Instagram especially, they rock up in a new car or they have all these new watches, and it is their personality. And that, to me, after experiencing the other side of this a week later, I realize now what that really means. If someone's entire personality is the cars and the watches, it inadvertently means who they are is a shell of what they represent online, right? That they have to talk about the physical things because without it, they are nothing. Those kinds of people are projecting an image of how they want the world to perceive them, but suffering deeply with insecurity on the inside. When they look at themselves in the mirror, they can't help and just look at the raw form factor of who that man staring in the mirror is. They need the watches, they need the glam, they need the adoration from all these random people online. Now, having experienced the other side of this, feeling almost disappointment having it, feeling like it hasn't changed me at all, now I realize this is the greatest gift I could have asked for. This certainty in myself that I don't even need this watch. There are days that I won't wear it at all going out. And think about how insane that is. 7 years waiting and delaying for this watch. I should be wearing it to sleep. I should be wearing it in the shower, everywhere. And sometimes I don't even wear it going out because it's not me. The watch doesn't make the man makes the watch, right? As Floyd Mayweather says, money don't make me, I make the money. And so it sounds so weird to say, but I'm actually so proud of the fact that wearing this watch does nothing for me, that I don't feel any different at all wearing this watch versus not wearing it, having it, not having it, being a Rolex man versus not being a Rolex man, because I already was. I became that person 7 years ago when in the AD I made the decision, no, I'm not gonna do this. Even though I could have bought the watch there and there twice, like, no. I became that man that day. And I only realize it now. I'm about to turn 26 in 2 days. And up until having this experience with the watch, I would have thought that I was behind. That, man, there's so many other kids, 18, 19, that are buying these watches, buying these cars, that for me to only have, material luxury possessions now, I'm behind, right? But actually, this is the best thing that could have happened. Again, I could have bought the Benz, I could have bought the watches when I was 19 and 20, but I chose not to. And part of me felt insecure of doing that still, because I'm like, man, the world is gonna look at me like I don't actually have it all going on because I don't have the luxury goods to show for it. But now seeing it on the other end, I'm like, man, looking at the substance of who those people are versus who I am, this is the greatest lesson I could have learned, is while I could have bought all the luxury things back then, could have bought more luxury shit now, I've just chosen not to. And it's at the perfect time because I really believe that this stuff doesn't at all make me, like, I feel completely indifferent to it. And that's how I know, not only am I ready for it, but I'm ready for so much more because I'm not lost in the source. I don't get big-headed about it. The thing that I take pride in, where my ego lies, is in how much my clients love me, how much results I bring in, the kind of mentor, the kind of coach I am for them, how much respect they have me, what I'm building in terms of the new AI software I'm building, in terms of the new infrastructure. It's unbelievable. That's where the past 7 years have gone to. That's who I am. I'd much rather have my identity attached to the good things, what I'm building, versus stuff like this. And I'm grateful to God to have this. But the greatest gift I could have gotten from this whole experience is realizing it has not changed me. Not one bit. So I'm grateful to God for that. And I challenge you to do an audit of the things that you want, whether it's a car or a watch or whatever the case may be. Just genuinely look at what you want and ask yourself, if you're in a position to maybe get that, who are you without having those material things? Are you still a good person? Are you still a great coach? Do people still love the work that you do? If that's the case, you don't need it. You genuinely don't need it. You have to take stock of who you are. Do you really want that watch to make you? Are you projecting? Are you not really the person that you think you are? If that's the case, then I advise you to employ delayed gratification. You don't need it, actually, right? That's the best lesson I've learned having this watch. And now the reminder that this watch has for me is not so much of all the achievements I've had and all this kind of stuff. No, it's a testament to the man that I am, the quality of my character, that I can employ delayed gratification and become a better person, that who I am doesn't need stuff like this, but I have it. That's what this watch means to me now. So I encourage you to do the same.